I am Daniel Posney, and this is Shifting Perspectives. And today I want to talk about my recent appendix surgery and what I learned from that and how that changes things in my life and um, what that means for me. So it all started, Valerie and I went up to Flagstaff, and I was going to go get a chiropractic and massage. And pretty sure that day or the day before, I was starting to feel some pain below my belly button. And it felt kind of like a cramp or kind of like a rock. This is sitting in my intestines. And I got the chiropractic. In fact, the chiropractor said that he had a similar pain and that he was starting to feel it over on his right side. And at the time, I didn't know the symptoms of different things. So I just kind of, oh, that's interesting. I haven't got that yet. And he did his adjustment, and then I had a massage, and I was really hungry, but with no appetite. I was ready. I was ready to eat, but I started getting really sweaty and uh, you know um, uh, clammy and feverish and that kind of thing, which was telling me that I've got some kind of infection going on. And then I started getting that pain over on my right hand side. So I started, I really wanted a veggie burger, man. I was so ready for some food, but I was so sick, really. And I had to leave, and she had to get her thing to go. And we had to drive from Flagstaff to our home, which is, you know, pretty close to 2 hours away, or an hour and a half. And I probably should have gone to the emergency room up in Flagstaff since I was just there, but I didn't. And I waited until about 9 o'clock at night, where I started looking at symptoms of things of ulcers and diverticulitis. And I'm so proud of myself, I can say that word now. And then appendicitis. And I had all the symptoms of appendicitis. And of course, not too long ago, I'd had to have my gallbladder removed, which were completely different symptoms. The symptoms of the gallbladder for me was like a acid reflux, pain in the esophagus, and pain in the chest, and then pain in the back, and pain in the heart. It was just really painful. So that was a completely different thing. So when I was feeling this, I was just on to something else. So I went in, they did all their tests, took a while. They had a busy night, but I did all the tests, and they did the ultrasound, and they came back and they said it was appendicitis. So they had me spend the night, and the next day or the next morning they got me in for surgery. I don't even remember, just wheeling into surgery, and that was it. And woke up, and it was all done. And the surgeon said that he went to go put his little clamp on there, his little kind of his little staples, which seals off both ends, the intestinal end and the appendix end. And he went to go grab it, and it kind of fell away in his hand, kind of thing, kind of disintegrated. So obviously he was kind of ready to go. So he got it out of there and, finished up. I haven't had much pain in that area, a little bit on the incision parts. Got three laparoscopy incision marks, and those are a little bit painful. But as far as the work that was done in there, everything is doing really well. And I really believe that part of my recovery time that's been so short with the gallbladder and the appendix has been my intermittent fasting, eating really well, not drinking alcohol, not eating sugar, not eating meat, and all those things kind of causes our body just kind of shrink in on itself and get really, really efficient. And not that I was eating crazy before. I wasn't eating pork rinds and pizzas every night, but every once in a while, a burger and some fries and maybe a beer. And those all things are all delicious. And I'm sure I'll not stop having those things for the rest of my life. But like once a week was probably too much, at least for my body. And it's just, this is just telling me that I need to get really, really clean. And what a coincidence that Valerie is going on this you know very clean diet, that she just got back from her 21-day water fast with a week of fruit fasting. And she's not eating anything bad. So my thought on that was to kind of sync up with her as much as possible. it's hard to do when she's down in Costa Rica and I'm working, so I can't really do the water fast as much as she could, but as much as I could, I did. So I think that really helped out my recovery time. So so far, I think I've lost 18 pounds, and I feel really, really good. Um, what I'm learning from this, as far as emotionally or spiritually, let me read you what some of the information on the web talks about. Once considered a vestigial organ, or an organ that was once used in an animal's evolutionary past and is now very close to being useless. With little known function, recent studies concluded that it acts as a safe house for beneficial bacteria that can be used in some cases to reboot the gut bacteria efficiently. So that's the other thing that I read about, is that the kind of the spiritual emotional side is that it's they call it the pantry, and it's this little tiny little thing. It's between 5 and 10 centimeters. Mine was 15 centimeters because it was inflamed. And it's a storage of bacteria, good gut bacteria, and apparently I don't need it, and apparently I don't need my gallbladder. And because the proof is that I feel really good, and I'm eating and digesting and sleeping and doing work, and everything feels really good. I think I developed like a little head cold or allergies after the surgery, but other than that, I feel really good. So that just kind of tells me, um, if it's happening, it's supposed to be happening. So my feeling about that is, it may be that not everybody can get rid of their gallbladder or their appendix, and I'm not special that I did. It's just feel like it was the right time. And I kind of like to say, I don't need to store my rage in my gallbladder anymore, and I don't need to store my fear or anger in my appendix anymore. Not that those things won't come up, when they need to come up, but maybe I just don't need to store those things, which apparently that looks like the case. Um, so someone asked the question about why would it, how'd you put it? Why would you take it out if it's, why would it be non-critical if God gave it to you? And, I can't help but go to the place of, um, there's not some separate God outside of me that is giving things to me and taking things from me. That God is in all of it, is in the gallbladder, is in the appendix, is in the realization of that which needs to be saved or not saved. Um, so my understanding of that is, I guess, a little bit broader than just um, a being giving or taking something away from me. That there is God everywhere in me, and I don't know. That kind of made me feel really good that everything is in its perfection. And the one thing that's, you know, things aren't so black and white. Everything is in perfection, and yet my body is not the perfect thing here. The body is a very physical manifestation of my emotions and beliefs and systems and frequency of consciousness and environment, all affected by these things. Um, the body does the best that it can to assimilate and to adjust and calibrate. But the perfection is in the one that animates that body. And that's what I believe is the truth of me. That is the one that is one with God, one with source. And that's where the perfection is. And so if the body is going through some evolutionary change, some new calibration, then maybe it's trying to keep up with that which that animates the physical form. So maybe as we evolve every minute and every day, and with our environment and our emotions and our foods, we evolve. And we evolve every week and every month and every year and every century and every millennia. And every millions and millions of years, that's what nature does. So maybe that's what's happening. And so that's kind of the epiphany that I had about all this. As far as what it changes for me, what with Valerie going through her diet, nutrition changes, and eating really clean, this just makes it really much easier to fall right in line with her as much as possible. So it's a lot harder to go out and get that burger and beer, or go out and get that candy bar, or whatever the thing was. And it's funny, is that I just don't have that that drive to go have, I don't know, some of those things I used to have, king crab legs with lots of butter and all those things. I just don't have the drive for that anymore. And I feel clear about what I want to put in my body, and also what I want to spend my time with. So just on kind of on the whole, it just kind of allows me to be a bit more clear on what I'm doing, what I'm allowing into my field. So, yeah, less saturated fats. I'm starting to look at labels a little bit more, and choose things that have less saturated fats. And yeah, I could take pills, I could take supplements, so I could eat that chili burger and stuff, but I'm not into that. So I'm just going to kind of clean up my act a little bit more, and really enjoy the satisfying food that goes into my body, but less of the more consciousness around the fats, probably because that's where the gallbladder, or storage of the bile, which is created from the liver but stored in the gallbladder, and that bacteria that's stored in the appendix. If I eat cleaner and more healthier, even, I'm really eating healthy, but even if I do more of that, then I'll have less for my body to process. And when I realize that my body has less to process, imagine eating, a couple of Big Macs and a quarter pounder and a large fry and a Coke, how much your body has to process and your emotions around all that, instead of eating something that your body assimilates really easily. It doesn't kick in all the emotions and all the energies around that. So that's where I'm at. And again, I feel great. I feel really, I guess the word is felt. I felt really kind of squeezed down in a really good way when I let go of my gallbladder. So that's the other thing I switched, is that I didn't lose my gallbladder. I let go of my gallbladder. I didn't lose my appendix. I let go of my appendix. And it feels really good. And it's just, again, it's just reaffirming where my dietary and nutrition stuff is going right now. And it's just getting really, really clear. And it probably is leaning more into raw and vegan. And we'll see how that goes. I think the last last meat that I had was a couple weeks ago, 2, 3 weeks ago, and feels really good. And the other thing that's, I know this is something that I wouldn't have agreed to before, but the other thing that has caused me to look at is the consciousness of the animals that I've eaten. And I did not want to look at that. It's kind of just, I wanted to just push that aside and not deal with that. And I would say that that came up when I was ready for that to be looked at, because that couldn't be forced upon me. I wanted to just allow me to go, oh, wow, I'm not eating another creature with eyes, kind of thing. This is a tough little subject to bring up, but at the right time, it comes up, and I feel really good about it now. And yeah, I may find myself eating some chicken or fish or something down the road, but it really feels good to have a lot less of that in my diet. And yeah, I think that's it. Um, Thank you for listening, and I love you. Thank you. Bless you.